Good morning, students. Welcome back in your SS class. Student, we have started the first chapter of history, that is the rise of the nationalism, and already we have completed five videos of this chapter, and you can say five parts. We have seen this thing. Now, in the last video, we have discussed about the features of the Vinaya Congress 1850, where the main aim of the Vinaya Congress, it was that whatever is done by, you can say that Napoleon Bonaparte, it must be undo. And second thing, again, the conservative form of rule, it was established in whole Europe. But this time, all the students, and you can say that, all the conservative people, they thought that we must be modernized if we want to made us strong. So they must be modernized. So this time, the conservative form of rule, it was different from the you can say before the 1789 conservative. So this time the conservative जो rule था वो थोड़ा सा different हो चुका था. Okay, students. Now we will discuss it ahead, and you can say furthermore. So the conservative rule, it formed in 1815, and it was very oppressive this time. They were, you can say that they were very highly intolerant towards any type of criticism and disagreement. This is the basic feature now. The conservative form of 1815, after, you can say after 1815 in the European society. So whatever the conservative rule it was established after the 1815, it was very oppressive, you can say that, because they were very highly intolerant. Intolerant, it means वो tolerate नहीं कर रहे थे. If anybody criticized him, anybody disapproved him, या you can say that they were disagreed against them, या वो किसी भी प्रकार का उनके खिलाफ कुछ भी protest करते, they were highly intolerant them. On the spot, they exiled that particular person. They gave them punishment at the spot. Even they started curbing down the activities against them. Whatever activities, it seems if they seen that this activity is against them, they started to curb them. They started to curb them. उन्होंने उसको control करना शुरू कर दिया, दबाना शुरू कर दिया. Even the censorship law were also imposed on newspapers, books, plays, and songs. I have already told you what is censorship. Censorship, it means that there was, you can say that there is no freedom of press and any other thing. Means you don't have any freedom to express yourself. You can't raise any, you can say that any issue, you can't raise any problem, and you never criticize, you can say that, the government. So even censorship laws, they were imposed on newspaper and books, plays, and songs. Whatever just only favored, you can say that rulers, they approve them, and whatever favored the idea of the liberty and freedom, which is associated with the French Revolution, they never allowed them, and you can say they never allowed them to publish. So censorship laws, it was, you can say they were imposed at that time, means after the 1815. So these were very basic features which were, you can say that, which were very oppressive after the 1815, and it was done by the conservative rule in the European society. But can you think that all this, whatever the conservative forms did, all this could stop different liberal activists from criticizing the new conservative form of rule? क्या उन्होंने सभी liberal people को रोक लिया? If you want to get the answer of this question, so we have to study furthermore, because after 1815, when the conservative rule was established in Europe, and from 1815 to 1830, they started highly intolerant activities. If they were criticized, they were curbed that activities in a very strict manner. So due to all these things, the liberal people, they never stopped, and you can say they were never stopped by the conservative peoples. They started to, you can say that they started to establish some secret societies to criticize the monarchy. Now let's think about how did these conservative people, they work for the liberty. We have to check this thing in the next slides. Now the next is, and you can say the next topic, it would be the revolutionaries, and it's a very most important part of this chapter. This after 1815, the fear of the repression from the ruling conservative class, it drove the liberal nationalists underground. Means all the liberal nationalists, they went underground. They started to forming up new secret societies in the different European areas, and you can say in the different European societies and states. मीन्स क्योंकि 1815 के बाद जो 1815 जो था उसके बाद जो था जो पीपल थे, अगर हम बात करते हैं जो मोनार्की थी, उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने उनको दबाना शुरू कर दिया था. Now, after 1815, if you think about the fear of the repression by the ruling conservative people, so all the liberal nationalists, they went underground and they started to forming up, you can say they started to form up different secret societies in the different part of the state. And if we think about the aim of these secret society, its main aim to spread the idea of the liberty and the nationalism. Means monarchy must be ended and there must be the government of the parliament. So the idea of the liberty and the nationalism, it was the basic aim of these secret societies. And they were also against the monarchical form of rulership. That was the result of the Vienna Congress after 1815. So they wanted that monarchical form of rulership, it must be abolished in the European state. And most of them, they wanted to create nation state and made it, you can say, the important part of their freedom struggle also. So they all wanted that the country must be a nation state where they established democracy and they have right, different type of right, so that they can choose their, you can say, government also. They wanted that monarchy must be ended, which was established after 1815. So that's why they started to form up secret societies, and the basic aim of these secret societies to spread the idea of the liberty and to spread the idea of the nationalism, so that these monarchy can be ended and nation state can be formed. There is a most important person, and it's a very most important person also, Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini, he was one of the revolutionary during that time, and he made different type of secret societies. And this person, he belonged to, you can say that, Italy. Now, Giuseppe Mazzini, he was one of these revolutionary who was the member of one of the secret society. Because you have one question about Giuseppe Mazzini, so we must have the knowledge about the background of this person also, and he played an important role for the unification of Italy also. So that's why Giuseppe Mazzini, he was one of the most important person in our chapter. So he was born, if you think about the Giuseppe Mazzini, he was born in Genoa in 1807. And he became a member of the secret society called Carl He was the member of it, and at the age of 24, he was sent into exile. Reason is that because he attempted a revolutionary act in Liguria in the year of 1831. So at the age of 24, he was sent for exile. Means उसे देश निकाला दे दिया गया. But he was not stopped here also. He made also different other secret societies after getting exile. So later on, he founded two more underground societies. The first one is Young Italy. It was established in Marseille. And the second one is Young Europe. It is in Bern. These are the most important secret societies, because one marks question arise from these societies. So name the secret societies which was founded, you can say that by Mazzini or Giuseppe Mazzini. The first one is Young Italy in Marseille, and the second one is Young Europe in Bern. And the member of these societies, they were the like middle class minded person, or the middle class minded person who wanted that monarchy must be ended. So they were the person, and they were the young men of different countries also, like some of them from Poland, some of them from France, Italy, and German state. So they were those members who were the revolutionary, you can say that. And Mazzini did the basic aim of the Mazzini behind these secret society. So my dear students, he want that Italy must not be the patchwork of the small state and you can say small kingdom. It must be a unified country. This was the basic aim of Mazzini. So that's why he founded these type of secret society. And from these secret society, he started setting, from these secret societies, he wanted that the Italy must be unified. इटली जो है वो एक यूनिफाइड कंट्री होनी चाहिए. देयर मस्ट बी नो, यू कैन से दैट, प्रिंसली स्टेट. So for this aim, he started setting up different secret societies in different part of the Europe, like Germany, France, Switzerland, Poland. He founded many secret societies, and the basic aim of it that the Europe, it was not a patchwork of the small state and small kingdom. It must be a unified Europe. There must be a unified Italy. There must be a unified, you can say, Germany. So Mazzini did all these things. Now, the student, Mazzini did all these things in a very non-stop manner. So all the monarchy, you can say that, they were being afraid from him. Both said डर गए, because he wanted that he wanted that there must be a democratic republic country. He wanted that the monarchy must be ended. So the action, whatever he was done, it was a region of fear among the conservative people. Metternich, I asked, I have already told you in the last video that Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich, he was the, you can say, the host of the Vienna Congress in 1850. He said about Mazzini that he was the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Social order here, it means that the monarchy, it means that the church, it means that the conservative form of government. So Metternich, he had described him, means described Mazzini that he was the most dangerous enemy of our social order. What does it mean? He mean he also want to here describe that Mazzini wanted to end the monarchy, and this was the social order of the, you can say, Metternich. So that's why, because he founded many secret societies, and the main aim of these secret societies is to establish nation state in whole Europe. So that's why Metternich said these word to him, that he was the most dangerous enemy of our social order. So in this way, dear student, we have come to know that one thing, that all the revolutionaries, they have started their own struggle and own attempts to get rid of all this type of conservative rule. All the revolutionaries, they wanted that the conservative rule must be stopped, must be abolished. Now student, what would be happen next? We have to discuss the next slide. Next came the period of the revolution, in which different revolutionary, they fought for their right, and they try to free themselves from the clutches of the conservatives. Means जो conservative का clutches को होता है बंधन, जो बंधन थे, जो आप कह सकते हो उनसे जो जिन्होंने conservative people को बांध के रखा था, they wanted to free them. How they get rid of them, we will discuss in the next, you can say, next slides. Now, this would be the most important time period, that is 1813 to 1848 period. And this age is considered the age of the revolutionary. Now, dear student, during this period, means from 1830 to 1848, in the European society, there was a time of great tension and unrest, you can say that. From one side, all the conservatives, they were trying to become more powerful, and from the other side of the revolutionary, they were attempting hard to bring liberalism and nationalism in Europe. This was the basic time, and this was the important time. And you can say this age is considered, yeah, this time is considered, was considered that the age of the revolutionary, because in whole Europe there was a time that of great tension and unrest, and all the conservative people, they wanted to become, they were trying at that time to be a more powerful. But on the other side, all the revolutionary, they were struggling hard to bring liberalism and to bring nationalism in Europe. They wanted to end monarchy. They wanted to democratic republic government must be there in the European societies. So all the revolutionaries, who were mainly from the educated middle class, you can say that, like professors, school teachers, clerk, and some members of the commercial classes, they started revolutionary activities in many regions of the Europe, like Italy, Germany, and you can say the Ottoman Empire. If you think about the Ottoman Empire, it means that this is the Muslim Empire. This is the Muslim Empire, and it is the most important area, because due to this important area, the First World War, it was happened due to the ethnic tension, and you can say due to the tension of the Ottoman Empire. And so in this way, we have come to know that one thing, that during the time period of 1830 to 1848, both the conservative and the revolutionary, both were trying hard. Conservative wanted to become more powerful. They wanted to they wanted to establish monarchy in a strong manner. On the other hand, if we think about the revolutionary, they wanted to bring nation state. They wanted that all the European society, which were, you can say, divided into different prince state, they must be the nation state. They must be the nation state where they had right to choose their ruler also. So that's why this age is considered the age of revolution, and it's a very most important thing. Now, my dear student, it is very most important thing. Listen very carefully. The first such incident took place, means the first incident of the revolution. It was took place in France in July 1830. This is the most important point, students, because the first spark, it was established in 1789 and it was done in France. Now the second time, the first incident of this upheaval, and you can say the first incident of any revolution, it was created in France in July 1830. It is most important thing. The liberal revolutionaries, they overthrew the Bourbon kings, and at its place a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe as its head, it was established. Means again, in 1789 there was a revolution, and in 1791 when the constitution was formed, so there were you can say that constitutional monarchy. So again in 1830, the liberal you can say revolutionaries, they overthrew the power of the Bourbon king. Means at that time Louis XVIII was the king after the 1815. It was discussed in the previous video lecture. So the liberal revolutionary, they overthrew the Bourbon king from the France, and at his place there was a constitutional monarchy under the leadership of the Louis Philippe. It was established, you can say that. The July Revolution led to an uprising in Brussels also, which resulted in the separation of the Belgium from the UK of the Netherlands, and it was done October 4, 1830. Okay, but this is not a major thing. This is not a major thing which you can say create a feeling of nationalism. The major event of it, which created the nationalist feeling among all the educated person in Europe, it was the Greek War of Independence. This was the most important thing. This was the most important thing. The first spark, it was, you can say that it was took place in France in July 1830. Agree. But this attempt, but this struggle, it was not created, it was not able to create so much spark in all the nationalist, you can say all the revolutionary. The major event which create this feeling among all the educated class of the Europe, it was the Greek War of Independence. So it is the most important question for this chapter, and it is the most important question for the board perspective also. Explain the Greek War of Independence. This is the most important thing. So let's discuss this thing. Now, whatever I will teach you right now, this will not be, you can say that in your book also. So it is, you can say, a different thing for you. If we think about Greek, it was under the Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. Ottoman Empire, it means Muslim Empire. If we think about the Ottoman Empire, it was the Muslim Empire. So during the 15th century, means from the 15th century, and you can say since the 15th century, Greek was under the Ottoman Empire. And let's think about the thing, Ottoman Empire, it was formed at the end of the 13th century. And it was formed by the Oghuz Turkish tribal leader Osman. Means at the 13th century, at the end of the 13th century, you can say that Ottoman Empire, it was, you can say that it was established by the Oghuz Turkish tribal leader Osman. And if you think about the since the 15th century, this Greek Empire, it was established under the Ottoman Empire. And this Ottoman Empire, it was formed the Oghuz Turkish tribal leader Osman. This person is most important person, and in your NCERT book, it was not mentioned. So underline this thing. Now, students, let's think about the independence struggle of the Greek. So, if we think about the independence struggle of the Greek, it was started, you can say that in 1821. It is most important thing. The nationalists in Greek, they were supported by all other Greek people. Who are the other Greek people? They were those people who attempted to, you can say that, who attempted to independent Greek once, but they were exiled by the Ottoman Empire. So all the other Greek people who were living in exile, they supported all the nationalists of the Greek because they wanted independence of Greek. Even there were many other people of the Western Europe also who had sympathy for Greek culture also. They also supported them. Means there were many other people of the European society. They were not the member of the Greek at any cost. So, but they supported Greek independence struggle. Different artists and you can say different writers. They also supported the Greek struggle against this Muslim empire. Means there are different artists and different writers. They played an important role, and this was the most important part for creating the nationalist feeling among the people also. Such a person, that is English poet, that is Lord Byron. This type of person, like this type of artist, is an English poet, that is Lord Byron. He not only organized, means collected fund for the Greek struggle also, but he also participated in the war, where he died fever in 1824. He was died in 1824 due to fever. Now, finally, the struggle which was started in 1821. Finally, there was a treaty of the Constantinople. It was signed in 1832, and from that time, Greek was considered as an independent nation. This was, you can say, this was a turning point in the European society, because when Greek got independence, from the Ottoman Empire, then why not the European society? They were more advanced from all the Ottoman Empire and all these countries also. So due to this incident, all the revolutionaries, whatever the revolutionaries are in Europe, they were very highly inspired from this. And they started to struggle for the nation state in European society. As we have already read that different artists and different poets, they had also participated in the revolutionary activities for bringing the liberalism and for bringing the nationalism in Europe. Now, what was the contribution, and you can say what was the romanticism, how the romanticism is connected with it? What was the contribution of the romanticism and how it is connected with this nationalism? We have to discuss in the next video lecture, and this would be the most important thing, because my dear student, it is a most important part when there was a feeling of the nationalism created in, you can say that, in the European society. It would be the most important thing. So we will discuss this romanticism in the next video lecture. I hope this concept is clear to all of you. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.